I'm about to tell you about the most impulsive thing I've done in years and why it taught me so many lessons about living with ADHD. So I'm this overcompensating ADHDer, right? I plan everything to the last degree because I'm terrified of forgetting something important. I'm the girl with color-coded calendars, plan A, B, and C. And if you're a neurozesty person, you know this struggle is real. It's that or the other kind, which is you don't plan at all and you go by the seat of your pants. But that's not me. So if you're a woman, and a few good men, trying to hold together work, family, caregiving, and you're feeling that the 50 tabs open in your brain struggle is going on, this video is for you. I'm Catherine Avery, Neurozesty Coach, and today we're talking about the surprising ADHD lessons hidden inside Sunday night's UConn win over Duke. Can you tell I'm excited? So if that speaks to you, go ahead and like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future videos on ADHD, overwhelm, midlife, and building a life that actually fits. So last Friday, I don't know, something in my brain said, just do it. I saw these UConn versus Duke tickets and a March Madness ticket event has been on our minds for a super long time. This time, YOLO, no spreadsheet, no research. I just bought them in about an hour as my husband's birthday gift. He was blown away. And now I have to say I may be completely ruined for every future basketball game. Because how do you top that ending? Here's what I didn't expect. Sitting in those stands, I wasn't just watching basketball, I was watching ADHD in action. Not because basketball and ADHD are the same thing, so stay with me here. But because this game, especially the ending of this game, was such a powerful reminder of what it means to function under pressure. What happens when we do not have all the information and how much emotional regulation matters in the moments that counts. And I know there are a lot of us who really struggle with emotions who have ADHD. We have big emotions. Honestly, that feels just a lot like life with an ADHD brain, right? So here's what blew my mind. The coaches didn't tell the head coach, all those assistant coaches, that their 3-point percentage was terrible. And believe me, everybody noticed. So I want you to think about that for a second. The person leading, making the decisions, guiding, responding in real time did not have a key piece of information that would have changed how he understood the situation. This works out for the better. And that's when it hits me. We're doing the exact same thing with our neurozesty brains. Because so many of us are trying to make decisions, solve problems, manage our lives, manage other people's lives, and we judge ourselves without actually having the full picture. We say things like, why can't I get it together? Why am I still behind? Why is this so hard for me? Why does everyone else seem able to do this and I can't? But often we're operating with incomplete information. We may not realize how mentally and emotionally depleted we are. We may not realize how much emotional labor we're actually carrying. Hello, sandwich generation caregivers. We may not realize that the system we're using doesn't actually fit the way our brain works. And we may not realize that our environment is making focus harder. Last but not least, we may not realize that what we're calling procrastination is actually fear, overwhelm, perfectionism, or decision fatigue. There's always some big emotion behind procrastination. And this is what makes neurodivergency so brutal. We're not just struggling, we're struggling with the wrong story. Not just that life feels hard sometimes. I mentioned that sandwich generation thing, right? Caregivers, that is a big job. What we're missing is that the story we've been given about why it feels hard is often wrong. We've been told it's laziness, a lack of discipline, a lack of effort, a character flaw. When really sometimes the issue is that we are missing something important. important information. And you cannot adjust to information you do not have. It's true for a coach on the sidelines, and it's true for us. If you don't know that your schedule has become impossible, you keep blaming yourself for not keeping up. If you don't know that your system is overloaded, you keep pushing harder and wondering why you crash. If you don't know that you need more visible cues, so like if my computer glasses aren't on my desk, forget about it. You don't know you need more structure, more recovery time, or how about less input? Then you keep trying to succeed inside a hostile environment. I hate to say it, but it's kind of true. And then you think, and I really don't love this at all, but it's true, we do this. You think that the problem is you, but it's not. And that is why support matters so much. That is why having someone help you see what you cannot see yourself matters so much. Because sometimes the breakthrough is not trying harder. Sometimes the breakthrough is finally having the right information. That wasn't the only lesson that night had for me. Because then came those 10 seconds that had all of fans on their feet. That ending of that game. If you haven't watched it, I really encourage you to go and just watch the last 3 minutes of that NCAA game. It was phenomenal. So Mullins made that winning 3-point shot, thinking they were actually down 3. They were down 2. And then he was shooting to tie the game. Okay? He thought he was going for a tie. He said this after. And he also talked about how he just stayed focused and just, wanted to get the ball up in the air. And it won the game. With 5 seconds left on the clock, Karaban had the ball and he really could have taken a panic shot, right? I keep thinking about that. Like, what would I do? I'd probably panic. I'm not a basketball player. And I'm a football fan, not a basketball fan. So bear with me. But instead, Karaban chose to pass it back to Mullins because Mullins had a better position. Think about that decision under extreme pressure with time running out. Karaban trusted his instincts about what the right move was, even though it meant giving up his moment in the spotlight. And y'all, we're not talking nearly enough about the character of Karaban to make that in-the-moment decision, choosing his team, not himself. He didn't overthink it. He didn't second-guess himself. He didn't have time. He saw the situation, made a choice, and acted on it. And that choice set up the winning shot. This is exactly how we live being neurozesty. We're acting on incomplete information, we're under pressure, and somehow we're still making it work. Because so many women with ADHD, or insert your flavor of neurodivergency here, feel like they have to understand everything before they act. We think we need the full plan. Okay, case in point, buying these tickets, right? We think we need the full map, the full picture, the perfect routine, the perfect level of confidence, the perfect moment, the perfect certainty that we are doing the right thing. In fact, the exact right thing. But here's the truth. Life doesn't wait for perfect information. It doesn't wait for perfect anything. Most of the time, life asks us to move before we're fully ready. And before we feel fully ready. Most of the time, we do not get total certainty. Darn it. Most of the time, we are acting with partial information, limited bandwidth, and a nervous system that may or may not be cooperating. That doesn't mean structure doesn't matter. It doesn't mean information doesn't matter. It doesn't mean planning is useless. It means perfect information is not required for progress. You don't need to see the whole game. You just need to see the next shot. And that is such an important lesson for those of us who are neurozesty. Because when you have an ADHD brain, it is very easy to freeze when the whole game feels too big. Or the whole to-do list, the whole month, the whole project, the whole house, the whole inbox, the whole life. But what if we stop trying to see the whole court? What if we just focused on the pass in front of us? Because sometimes that's all it takes to win the game. Because sometimes the game isn't won by the person who sees or knows everything, am I right? It's won by the person who trusts their instincts, takes the shot they have, and keeps moving forward, even when they don't have all the information, even when the clock is running down, even when it feels like everything is on the line. That's not just how you win basketball games. That's how you win with ADHD.